What's up, YouTube? So, I had a little conversation with a coworker last night about the situation with Ukraine, a rumor he heard about the U.S. being invaded if we go to war with Russia, and I'm going to make my comments on what could possibly happen. Now, right now with Ukraine, we don't know what's actually happening. Like, we don't have the full story, because at this point, a lot of information that's coming out about Ukraine defending themselves amazingly is getting questioned, because, like, President Zelensky fighting side by side with his citizens. Come to find out, those photos that they're using is from last year when he inspected the border. Then the story of a Russian tank running over a vehicle. Yeah, come to find out, that was a Ukrainian tank. May or may not have been commandeered by Russian soldiers. Not to mention the so-called Ghost of Kiev. We don't even know if it's real or if it's fake. Like, there's so much propaganda coming out supporting Ukraine that gets, like, debunked the next day. It doesn't help. Like, it's getting to the point where people are questioning if Ukraine is even putting up a fight. In my opinion, that needs to stop. Like, just stop spreading the propaganda. Stop saying, oh, they're doing so good. Look at the president. He's so amazing. And he's actually hiding in like a bunker or something. Or he's hiding out in another country. Something like that. Like, that's not helping. Some people are questioning if the propaganda is coming from Russia itself to make it look like Ukraine's doing good, and just for it to be debunked the next day. And we're like, okay, what's really going on? How good is Ukraine holding off Russia? Like, all of that's not helping the situation at all. It's actually hurting the trust. It's actually making some countries not want to help Ukraine. Now, I mentioned U.S. possibly getting involved with the war. Pretty much what I'm talking about is Hillary Clinton going on MSNBC saying we need to have the U.S. tech companies do cyber attacks on Russia. Now, here's the problem with that. If that happens, that will pretty much instigate Article 5 of the NATO agreement, which pretty much means any attack from a NATO member against another country, any attack, like ground war, like ground attack or cyber warfare, something like that, can initiate a global war. Well, it can initiate the NATO members attacking that country. Which, if that happens, U.S., UK, and all the other countries will be getting involved. And not just sending munitions, weapons, and stuff like that. It's, hey, we're sending our troops. A coworker of mine I'm going to say he's kind of a prepper. He made a comment last night saying that he's hearing rumors of a possible homeland invasion. And when I say homeland, I'm talking about the U.S. being invaded. He said, from what he's hearing, it could be either Russia or it could be China. In my opinion, it has to be both. Because the only way they could invade the U.S. is by having both Russia and China combining their naval forces to be able to do that. Now, I know people are like, oh, that'll never happen. Our Navy's too big. Here's the problem. There's a divide culturally in the U.S. Culturally, politically, there's a freaking huge ass divide. Like, it's getting to the point where a country that doesn't like us can nuke us and we would still be divided. That's not good. The U.S. does not need to be involved in a war. We need to stay out of a war, and we need to fix the cohesion in the U.S. People have been talking about another civil war in the U.S. happening. It's getting damn close. Like, it's getting too damn close at this point. But what I'm talking about is for countries like Russia or China to combine and attack, have their navies combine and attack the U.S. and invade the U.S., the best opportunity would be if the U.S. is split in two different wars. One, they're fighting other countries, and another, they're fighting itself. People have been saying a civil war is going to happen, and I'm predicting in the next year or two, it actually popping off. And that would present the perfect opportunity for an adversaries to invade. I know people will be like, well, our Navy is too strong. They won't be able to break the lines. No single country can do it. But if two countries combine their forces, they'd actually be able to do it. Yeah, it'll be a small force, but they will be able to do it. Now, if the U.S. is fighting itself in a civil war, yeah, won't help the situation. That won't help the situation. Not if those countries support one of the sides. Now, another thing that wouldn't help is if, like I said, if China and Russia do combine their naval forces to attack the U.S., we owe China a ton of money. What do I mean by a ton of money? Enough to make the U.S. go bankrupt. If China pulls the IOUs we have been giving them. It would literally, I'd say, it either nearly collapse the U.S. economy, or it will collapse the U.S. economy. Because if you actually look at it, we're not independent. We are reliant on other countries to make goods like shirts, electronics, stuff like that. We rely on other countries for oil, some food, and stuff like that. We are not independent anymore. We are heavily reliant on other countries, and that's a current problem. Am I saying that the U.S. Am I saying it's gonna happen? Probably not. We might be able to avoid it, but the chances of us doing that are kind of slim. It's one of those situations where you need to walk a tightrope while blindfolded after you've just been spun around like 50 times. And you're being shot at while you're trying to walk that tightrope that's about 500 feet in the air. Talk about freaking difficult. But, my opinion, we don't need to be involved. We don't need to have our tech companies do cyber attacks. That's going to launch us into another world war. We don't need to be instigating we don't need to be instigating World War III. Leave that to Germany. Yeah, Germany, the people who have started the last 2 world wars. Yeah, let's leave that to Germany. But we don't need to be involved in the situation with Ukraine. Can we support them? Yes, by sending military aid, stuff like that. That's one thing. Do we need to be sending ground troops? No. We need to stay away from getting completely involved. We need to fix our problems. Number 1. Number 2, we need to be self-reliant, as in we have our own oil. We can create our own automobiles, our own electronics, stuff like that. We need to get those industries back up and running, or else we are going to fall rapidly. It's going to be, like I said, it's going to be difficult to get to that point, but right now with how Biden is, I don't see us avoiding that outcome. I know people are saying, "Oh, no country wants to invade us. There'll be a rifle behind every blade of grass." And again, that's why I say all a foreign adversarial country needs to do is wait until the U.S. is in a civil war. And we are at that point where one can pop off. Okay, I will deal with it. But like I said, that's my opinion. Tell me what you think in the comments. Peace.